forget to subscribe and then hit the bell icon. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
In today's fast-paced world, missed calls are a common occurrence. Whether due to poor reception, busy schedules, or simply overlooking a ringing phone, we've all experienced the frustration of missing an important call. A missed call back service automatically returns a call when the initial attempt goes unanswered. It bridges communication gaps, ensuring that important calls don't go unnoticed, whether for businesses or individuals.
Okay, I think that's enough of that. But basically what I did was, what got my attention was this little graphic here where it's got the waveform on it and it's just, you know, pulsating and stuff. And I thought that was what the thing that would grab people's attention. And so I went having a look and I saw somebody else do something similar on another site and it grabbed my attention. So what I did was I went off and did some investigating and I found, I've looked at this site before, but really didn't dive into it. And it's Veed.io, right? So video. So I don't know whether anybody's come in and had a look at this or not. But again, it's a AI type things and whatever else. So you can create all kinds of projects in it, but it's got a lot of stuff. For example, this is just an avatar, right? So I open that up and you can pick the avatar you want to speak on your behalf, which is the standard kind of stuff that's out there.
Let's say hello and welcome to more Marketing Mastermind.
That's
Let's say hello and welcome to more Marketing Mastermind.
So, but what it's about is that you can add stuff to it. For example, one of the things I did was I actually went into Elements and I grabbed one of their waveforms, right? And that's just, so it's edited here. Now let's play it.
Let's say hello and welcome to more Marketing Mastermind.
And the waveform actually follows the voice. So it's not just a clip of a video of a waveform. It actually follows the voice. So it actually, if the person's not speaking, there's no waveform. If the person drops down in their volume, the waveform follows it. So it's like it is genuinely an AI created waveform, right? So I thought this was a nice interrupt thing on a video. So it's different than what people are doing, right? And it's like everything else. All of this stuff is trial and error. It's worth a try. If it works, you keep it going for as long as it works. If it doesn't work, well, it was worth a shot anyway, right? And I got comments on the ones I put up because even you, Brenda, you said, well, I'd be interested to find out how you did that, right? Now, this is all of this stuff is free at the moment. Like there are upgrades, you can get longer video times and you get other benefits, but you can create and play with this stuff at no cost, right? So it's a good tool. And if you, the way I look at it was I probably wouldn't do a long video with this on it or any of this stuff, but it's a short interrupt video on Facebook so that you put it up as, you know, even if you want to run a Facebook ad, for example, or you want to do short reels or something like that. So it actually interrupts people and grabs their attention. And you can actually, you know, in here, I can put text in, do anything I like, you know, I can grab text, put a headline in, you know, and change the color. So it's got all different stuff in here, make it bold. And let's see what happens when I play it. Oh, the text is here, that's why I can't see it. Right down the bottom, sorry. So I'm just going to move it over to the start of the timeline. Move the waveform back in, right? And you could, and we can change that so it doesn't come in till later on. So
let's say hello and welcome.
You know, I can obviously move it around, do whatever I like with it. So it gives you the basic tools that I think anybody needs to create something. And if you don't want to be a face on camera, it's perfect, right? So you just put the face up.
Yeah.
All of these things can be resized. So, you know, you can.
How much that cost a month?
The basic one is free. This is the other day. I mean, I don't know how to to fix that. Let me just, because that's actually changing the play window, but I don't know. There's obviously a way to actually change her. Because I don't want to just cut her off. Oh, there we go.
I think you have to, yeah, you have to do it from the corner.
Yeah.
There you go.
No, I tried the corner before. I obviously picked the play window and not her, but so you could drop that, the same thing, put it up here. So it looks a bit better. Drop that down here and then make that come in a lot later. So it's at the end of the video, for example.
Let's say hello and welcome to more Marketing Mastermind.
Good. And if I want to change it, you can go in here and where's the avatars?
If one of those AI things could make the link clickable, that would be something.
There is actually there is another video creation tool that you can put clickable links in it. I'll have to find it for you, but and maybe there's a way of perhaps creating a video in this, right, and then importing it into that other tool and make it clickable, right? So it might be a matter of combining two tools, or any of your other videos, but there's definitely a tool where you can actually have time-based thing, because one of the things they'll do in it is they'll ask a question like, let's say, for example, you ask the question, you say, well, does your business earn more than $10,000 a month? Yes or no? And if they say no, then they get a different video that continues on, right?
That makes sense.
Or if they say yes, you go, great, we can help you, or no, I can't help you because you don't meet our thing. So I'm trying to remember what the name of the tool is. It'll come to me, may come to me before the end of the call. If it does, then I'll share the link. But either way, I'll find it. But those tools are out there, right? So you can actually have basically multiple videos streamed together based on questions that you ask along the way. Or you could just put a link up at the end of the video and say, click here for more information, and they'll go there.
Yeah, I use Camtasia, which is it's a good, simple, easy to use video editing software.
Yeah.
I just did a search on Perplexity, and Camtasia allows you to create a clickable link in the video.
Oh,
With
okay.
an option that's called interactive hotspots.
What's it called, Maury?
The video app, or it's not an app because it's a program, but it's called Camtasia.
It's been around for years.
Yeah, but it has a thing called interactive hotspots, a feature, so you can actually make your link clickable on the screen in the video. That's pretty cool.
You've answered your own question. It's good.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know until I did the search, which is actually good, because now when I do my webinars, I can make the link clickable in the video.
So what's the cost of Camtasia, or is
like $150 US a year?
Okay, yeah, so it's well in.
But you don't have to renew it every year. It's just if you want the updates.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's pretty powerful. I mean, I've moved, like I got over the years had access to lots of video editing tools, and I'm finding that at the moment CapCut does a lot for me. But then when you look at this tool here, like the way you can create stuff within it, it's a good video creation tool, not editing, but
Oh yeah.
It's so you can put anything in it, and it's obviously got like in here you've got, where is it? I think it's under elements.
Do you prefer CapCut over the video editor that you can get with an Apple computer, Fred?
Yeah. I absolutely. I'm trying to remember the name of the bloody one that comes with the Apple, but
I think it's called Garage something or other.
That's the audio.
Oh,
trying to remember. What is it?
Shows you
iMovie. iMovie is the video editor that comes with Mac, and it's a powerful tool, absolutely. But and I used to use it all the time. but I find CapCut relatively easy to use to change things and move stuff around. And, you know, it's a bit like this. I mean, you've got the timeline down the bottom and you just move stuff around, you know. That's what I find it with this, you know, this is like, I want to push that up the front, you know, I can put it up the front, you know. I want to put a box in it. Again, you look at the elements here. Let me go. You can add the avatar like it's got here. I can put progress bars in it. Got the waveforms. You can put emojis. You know, we put a shape behind somebody. You know, so
A good little promotion tool, eh?
I think it's great. Absolutely, I think it's really good. Yeah,
It's quite a lot for the free version for sure.
yeah, and you got animations on it, so you know you can fade it in. And where I had the timeline, that's where they've gone in, right? So I put the timeline was sitting here because I'd played a video. But now I want to move that over here, right? Now when I start, it's obviously not a great demo, but
Let's say hello.
move that back a bit. So
Let's say hello and
I'll move it down. And that's now covering the writing, but if I wanted actually the writing in front, I just drop it in underneath it. So you can move stuff around, set what's on top of one of the things. So again, we go back
let's say hello.
and obviously that's no good. Let's do that. Oh, come on.
Let's say hello and welcome to more Marketing Mastermind.
Right. So, I mean, I don't think
You got to change that to the more to the more marketing mastermind.
Sorry, I didn't get that, Murray.
It's missing a word. It's disturbing to me. Let's say hello to more marketing mastermind, to the more. I'm just saying from an English perspective.
Okay.
Because you can just add it in the script, right? And she'll say
Well,
what
that's a good point, because I don't know whether you can actually.
I would think you could. Kind of makes sense anyway.
Let's bring. Where's the timeline on me? It's hiding behind Zoom. Sorry.
So I've actually opened up Camtasia and I'm checking right now.
It doesn't. I don't
Oh,
think it doesn't give me the option to edit the script. I think it's a matter of fixing the script up before you add the avatar. By the looks of it, there's no option there. Fade in, fade out, magic tools. So it doesn't attach audio replace. So I can attach the audio from it or replace. Oh, let's go replace the video. No, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at elements again. We can take that out. Just delete it. Go to elements. Scroll back up the top. We'll have a different avatar. And this is where you drop in the script, you know. It'll take a little bit of time to generate it, but it's sitting in the background, just generating it. But the thing that like I haven't tried to download this. I think I might have even gone over my limit with actually downloading stuff as well, because I've been playing with it a little bit over the last few days. But you know, the free version of it, it's well, let's make her smaller. Area. Zoom is in my way. Let's play it.
What?
Oops, that didn't go well.
Um,
I think that might be my.
Marketing mastermind session.
I think that might have been. Whoops, stop. Yeah, that might have been my internet, or else it was just getting ready.
Welcome to the More Marketing Mastermind session.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of playing up with Zoom in the background and playing it, but I'm not. It's a shame you can't actually edit that, and there might be a reach out to support that you once you've created it, that you can't actually edit the script itself and regenerate it. I would have thought that might be, and it's probably something that they'd be looking at, but doesn't seem to be anything here about regenerating the actual audio. No.
Welcome to the More Marketing Mastermind session.
There you go. That sounds better.
And you can see, like, when I look at the audio, that's it there. Yeah, that's it there. Yeah, I could just drop it underneath or put it there and see what happens.
Welcome to the More Marketing Mastermind session.
So I just think that, it's b.io. I'll drop it in the chat. Everybody can have a play with it.
It's amazing how many things they're coming out with.
So. The thing is, like we said before, the thing you got to be careful about is that you're going to don't get caught up with shiny objects, and that's all you play with.
Yeah.
But when I say that, I actually I used to have a license for a product called Messenger CRM, which some of you may or may not have known about. And what it did was it actually allowed you to categorize your Facebook fans and followers into different buckets. So if you had, somebody that was a prospect or a client or an existing client or an active client or whatever, you could actually color code them into little boxes. And when you open up Messenger, they were all segmented into those, and you could filter on them and send messages to them based on what category they were in. I found one just this week, and it was called Lead Magic X. And I will actually, I think I'll grab the link to it, but it's got a free version. So if you've got 50 contacts, you can play with it and do stuff. And then if you want to upgrade to, if you've got more contacts that you want to send messages out to, you can actually, and to categorize them and throw them into boxes, you can actually do that. Let me go and find a link for that. Maybe I'll get there in a second.
Be right back. I'm just gonna get a drink.
No worries. Oops. Those calendar links. To Zoom, and we've got that's it there. And it's actually, if you click on it, make sure it's got the VIA 66, because if you do decide to upgrade to pay, I'll get a little bit of a donation into the Support Fred Foundation. Okay. So, but that's Lead Magic. If I could show you a quick illustration of it.
And that's designed only to work on Facebook.
Yeah. So I'll share the screen again. Yeah, so what it's got, like here, for example, I've just opened it up, and this is the dashboard that you get after you sign up. So when you go in here, I've just been, again, playing with it over the last couple of days. if I open up contacts, you'll see some familiar faces in here, and it tells me that I've actually added them into a category called more marketing. I've got this more marketing ideas mastermind, they're interested. So if I go and have a look at funnels, you can actually create funnels, and you can say, I've created these as the start of something that I'm working on. So I've got do a deal, which is our thing. I've got, well, people are interested, they attended, they came as a visitor, or they came as a booth holder. So I can tag these people as that. If I go and have a look at Messenger, right, and reload it. What's going on with that? Okay, you can see here that it's got an X up the top near the person. So if I wanted to add that person to the category, I just hit the X up here, which is the lead magic X is why it's got that in. And if I go down and have a look at like Sherry, right, Sherry's already in my contact list. And if I click on this here, it tells me that she's in this funnel, right?
And that's got Messenger built into it, has it?
No, Messenger is Messenger. I'm in Facebook Messenger at the moment. This is an add-on for Messenger. So it just helps you categorize the people in Facebook Messenger, right? And obviously you can you can add to a funnel, right? So for example, if I wanted to, if Sherry was interested in do a deal and I'm talking to her on the phone, all I would do is I would say, okay, whoops, come back, add to the funnel. And it just brings up a box and it says, okay, what funnel do I want to add it to? I simply select from the funnels I've created and I go do a deal. And then it says, what stage do I want her in? Well, she attended, for example. So now I can save that. And now if I look at Sherry, I go back up to Sherry here on the X, right? It actually tells me that she attended do a deal and she's also interested in more marketing ideas. So it just gives you another way of tracking your people. Now, the thing I'm talking to these guys about is because I like this product, but what I really want to do is work out a way of how to get people from here into the CRM system so that it's automated or it's linked or it's through the API or whatever it might be. But I haven't reached out to them yet because I'm a brand new member to their community, so I don't want to come in too aggressive. So I'm just holding off for a couple of days, ask a couple of general questions, and then the next one will be, well, can you add this feature? And that's going to open up, for me personally, that's going to open up a lot of doors, because we can get people to sign up for this for free and then move them over into the CRM, which would be the upsell for me. So, and that's the reason I'm looking at these tools. Okay.
So are these some of the things you're going to be offering through Do a Deal, Fred?
Well, yeah, actually, one of the things, and this is absolutely like one of the things that I will be offering through Do a Deal, for example, and if I take that as an option, and you can look at being an affiliate for products, right? That's again what I'm looking at. So they're offering 20% for affiliates when you join, even as the free member. When you join, there's a button up right in the right-hand corner that says affiliate. You click on that, you fill in their form, and you become an affiliate for their product as well, right? And they pay 20%, which is not a lot of money, but everything adds up. The reason, getting back to Do a Deal, what I'm going to say to people on Do a Deal when we launch on the 10th is that I'm going to offer, say, go and sign up for this for free, right? And then if you upgrade to any of their paid programs, you will get something, probably membership of the mastermind, the basic monthly membership for free, right? So, and that'll help build this community because people will join that. They may upgrade or may not. But if they don't upgrade, they would pay more for joining more marketing ideas directly, right? So that's going to be my offer on the thing. So it's a two-barrel thing in the do a deal option, and again, it's test and measure. You know, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, we change the offer. There's no big deal, right? But I just think that again, the program, the way I looked at it there, I didn't show you the other side of it where. Let me do that. So where are we going? Okay, so share my screen again. Okay, so I've just gone into the message segment in here. And what I've done is I've created 3 different messages for the same thing, because one of the things about Facebook, it doesn't like you sending out cut and paste messages to people by just going, you know, message, even if it's manual, they still don't like it, right? So you could just message Brenda and click on it manually and they still don't like it. So what this does is I've created 3 different messages basically saying the same thing, but in a different way. And what the system does, it will actually rotate those to whoever I send it to a group, right? And the idea is that I can actually send a message to one of the funnels. So I've created people, and as you saw before, like if I go into the funnel here, I've started to add people because I'm only testing this at the moment. Oh, get over. Why did I move? But I've got, these are more marketing ideas, mastermind interested, and then I've got paid, right, or joined members. So there's two different groups, and I've got 70 people in here. Well, I can, if I open that up, right, I can tag all of these people and I can message them, right? Or I can tag some of them and message them because they're all in this funnel, and they will then get that template that I showed you earlier. So they would get that message, and you're going to see this over the next week because you're obviously members here. So I'm probably going to send that out tonight to remind people, and I'm not going to send it out. We've got 260 odd members in, but you know, probably 100 or 250 of them are inactive. So I may send out one message to all of them, and then I'm going to be selective of who gets the message, because it's pointless sending messages to people that are just not engaging, right? So I'm going to start.
Do you think there's any way to get them re-engaged, Fred?
I would love to know the answer to that. Right? I would seriously love to know the answer to that. You know, like even when you put in within the group, when you do the at everyone, you would think that would get people re-engaged, because everybody's getting the message at least once a day, right? Everybody's getting a message from within the group on a daily basis. So I don't know, you know, if we can find that's that secret sauce, isn't it? How do you get people re-interested in something that, and whether they're reading those messages or just dumping them or whatever, we don't know, because Facebook doesn't give you any stats on that. So it's hard to tell.
Do we know that Facebook is showing them all your message?
Do we know? No, right? I don't know. I'm told that if you use the at everyone, you're only allowed to use it once a day within the group. The other thing I've been trying, and I just saw somebody else do this last week, was they put the at followers on their Facebook profile. Now, I don't know whether using that sends it out to more people or not. I can't tell, right? It might be that, you know, now that I think about it, it's probably worth actually doing a thing. I'm just put up a post and say, I'm just testing the at followers component of Facebook. Can you please respond and let me know if you got this message? So that's certainly worth trying, right? And then we know that works, because I think, you know, I think Facebook is shooting themselves a little bit in the foot by not sending messages out to people that are in your fraternity, right? So, you know, if they would send it out, they'd probably get a lot more engagement from people. People can unfriend you if they're getting too many messages, you know.
Why do they only send it to about 25 people?
Oh, you'd be lucky if they send it to that. You'd be lucky.
Is
Like,
it
it's
is
supposed
it
to be.
because they're trying to force you to take the paid ads? Is that what it is? Really, what it comes down to?
Yeah, but even paid ads, you know, paid ads, and this is anecdotal, but you know, I've been in a lot of groups over the last couple of years, and they reckon that if you're not spending $500 a month on paid ads at Facebook, you're not going to go anywhere. You know, you see all these gurus talking about here's the latest trends, and you can do it for $5 a day. Well, if you do it for $5 a day, my attitude today is good luck with that. If it's a niche that nobody's in, you might have a chance, right? But if you're going up against, you know, I'm talking to a chiropractor on Wednesday about setting up their Facebook ads, and they're going to have to be spending $1,000 a month on the ad spend plus my fee, right? To get anywhere. So that's going to be a real interesting conversation. You know, because when you say, so it really depends on the lifetime value of his customers, of how long people are going to be coming back to him over, you know, 12 months or 2 years or 3 years, whatever it is, and how much they're going to be spending with him. If he's not getting at least one client, or if he's not at least recovering his costs in the month, then the ads are not worth it. If you're recovering your costs and you're just getting branding, then the ads are probably still worth it, right? Okay, you're not getting money in the door, but at least you're getting your message out there and you're recovering your costs. So it's not costing you anything for the branding aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's still value in that, right? But if you're getting enough to get you one new client and you got a profit, well, then it's definitely worth it. But if you're not getting a return on investment and you're spending money just for branding, then you're not Coca-Cola. So, you know, it's hardly worth it.
What do you all think of quizzes?
What was the question?
What do you think of quizzes as a lead generation technique?
I personally, unless I'm getting something up front, I probably wouldn't fill it out.
I've never done them.
If it was, here's this thing, and to get more information, I'd like more information, right? But a quiz for a quiz's sake doesn't do it for me, right? And sometimes, and I have done it last week because there was another guy doing quizzes at the end. He I went and watched the stuff, and he had, it must have been about 15 questions, right? Well, after about 5 questions, I was over it. So I didn't complete the quiz, right? I just quit, you know, because it was like, let me get to, like, I'm one of these guys, I want to get to the meat. I don't want, when I go to a webinar, normally with webinars, I'll fast forward past the first 20 minutes because I know it's only going to be bullshit about where they've been, what they've done, and who they served, right? And I'm not interested in that. I want to find out what's in it for me. You know, where's the meat? What are you going to teach me? What am I going to learn? How quick am I going to do it? That's where I want to be. And the same with quizzes. Quizzes, like you've already got the person's details, right? Theoretically, unless you use the other way. Excuse me. Unless you use the quiz the other way around, and you're asking them questions, and the last question you ask are the contact details, whether it's name, and email and phone number. If that's at the end of the quiz, then you run the danger of people being like me and going, sorry, too many questions, I'm out of here. So your quiz was a waste of time, right? The other compound factor of that is that if you do it at the beginning, then at least you've got the contact details. And if your quiz can tell you how many questions they answered and didn't answer, then you can tell whether your quiz is working or not, you know? But if you're starting out with quizzes, I would keep the questions down to a minimum.
Okay.
Right? And then you can build out, you know, but certainly wouldn't be asking 8, 9, 10 questions. Because if I went into that quiz, I'd be gone. That's me personally.
Maury, what about you?
What about, I apologize. I'm quadruple tasking. Give me a quick question.
You see, there's the.
So I was asking about quizzes.
I just want to jump
Oh, I
in.
think quizzes are a complete and utter waste of time.
You said something.
Total
So
waste of
if
time.
you see a post where someone says answer this quiz to find out what kind of a buyer you are, or
In
to
a
find out,
million years. Not in a million years. If I'm on somebody's email list and they say, can you fill out this quiz because I want to create my next product as something you actually want instead of something I think you want, that quiz I'd look at. But to do a quiz like on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, the minute I see the word quiz, it's like, stay away from me. And I'm Jewish and I'm doing this. So that should tell you something. And you're asking for someone to participate with no value for them whatsoever. Find out what kind of buyer you are. You know what kind of buyer you are. You go into a Walmart, you buy all the sugary shit you can see. You don't need to have a quiz to find out what kind of buyer you are. You know, these quizzes are useless. They're there to engage people because a lot of people have no lives and all they want to do is play on these silly sites. But I don't think you get any usable data from them.
okay,
Because look, you put in, for instance, put in questions like, are you male or female, or do you identify as something else? Do you earn, pardon me, do you earn $20,000 to $60,000? Do you earn $60,000 to $80,000, $80,000 to $100,000? Well, people aren't going to say they earn, they're on welfare. So they're going to say, I earn $1 million. You're not getting accurate information. There's no reason for them to give you anything accurately. They're just, oh, let's race and see how fast I can get this answered. No one's going to care. For instance, I'm a member of Google something or other. I can't remember what it's called, but it's actually, I can probably tell you what it's called. Google has a app. What's it called? Anyway, it doesn't matter. What they do is they give you an email every so often, once or twice a day at most. And it's a questionnaire that usually is like one or two quick things. It takes about 10 seconds. And if you answer it, they give you 10, 15, 20, 40, $1 towards your Google, Google Play Store. So you actually get money. I haven't paid a dime for an app in 3 years. Right now, I have over $10 built up in my Google Store kitty in credits that I got just from like clicking one or two things. That's it. Like bing, bing, done, submit. Thank you. We just deposited 10 cents into your thing. We just deposited 48 cents into your account. That offers you something and it takes very little time. So if you can offer them something of value to them and ask one question, maybe two at the most, that doesn't require them reading a paragraph, then you stand a chance of someone giving you legitimate information. But otherwise, aren't you sorry you asked?
I agree.
no,
with
I
you,
appreciate it.
because one of the things that, it's like with anything, any marketing, and that's what people are talking about quizzes. And I mean, there's a lot of buzz about them at the moment, Brandon, and I'm with you and I understand where you're coming from. But the one thing with any marketing is you've got to look at what you want to achieve at the end of it. Right? What's your reason for doing the quiz, for putting the quiz up? What do you hope to get out of people answering your questions? Right? That's the focus. It's not just getting people to answer questions or just getting people to come and sign up for a quiz. It's what do you want to achieve at the end of the quiz when they answer it. And if you can do that in a minimalistic way, then you're better off doing that, right? So you cut down the engagement period with the person.
So this one that I'm working on, the outcome is supposed to be more names on your mailing list. To have a very limited mailing list. So if I go to mail to people, I'm looking for other strategies for how to get more people on my mailing list. So I participated in this giveaway and that's got me some people. And now supposedly this quiz will bring me more people on my mailing list. But the other thing, I agree with you, I guess, Maury, that some people don't answer truthfully, but the other thing this should give me is whether they belong in my community or whether they're good candidates for my course.
But you should know the answer to the first question without the quiz. If they're in the community, you should know that already, so you don't need that question.
No. That's why I'm putting it on like my personal page and other places. Like when I go and I do a speaking engagement, I might ask people to do this quiz for me. Those kind of things.
And the quiz is about what form? What form was the quiz taken?
What do you mean?
Well, in what form is it? Is it a fun thing, a game, or is it a survey? Now, a survey is different than a quiz.
Well, it's multiple choice questions.
How
Leading
many?
to what? What are they leading to?
They help. Well, you get a report that tells you what kind of marketing personality you have. So I'm trying to attract entrepreneurs.
Yeah,
so if an entrepreneur knows what kind of marketing personality they have, then they know the marketing style they believe will work best for them. But then it's also going to show me. So it does send them the answers. It sends them a report.
Who produced the answers, the multiple answer question, but who produced the result? Did you have someone do that for you, or did you do it yourself?
Part of it was done through ChatGPT. So part of it is done through ChatGPT.
Okay.
Okay. I just want to interrupt a little bit, guys, because I'm going to introduce the amazing Alison.
Yay! Hello!
Old friends.
Old friends.
Jose, yeah.
Long time. Hi, everyone. Sorry I'm late. I thought it was 11 o'clock, the daylight saving time.
No,
So Brenda, is that a survey you're doing?
Yes.
Yep.
So I didn't hear you, Fred.
Yeah, I was just going to say it was 9 o'clock last week. Now it's 10.
Okay.
So we moved.
Good to know.
Because our clock went forward on the 1st of October. So,
yeah.
But there's no change to the US time. So.
Not yet. They happen, I think, another month or so.
Yeah, but I'm keeping the times standard to the US Eastern time zone. So that it will always be at 7 p.m. if I remember that right. 7 p.m. Eastern. So and that's for the 4 days we're running the sessions at the moment. So we run them, Alison, there's been a slight change since you last came in. We run them now from Tuesday through to Friday our time.
Okay.
And it'll be at 10 a.m. each day.
Okay, thank you.
Brenda was just asking a question, and there was a bit of a debate about it. Well, I don't think it was a bit of a debate because I think there's a couple of us here have got pretty opinionated opinions on it, if that's the right way of saying it. The benefit of quizzes to generate leads and build your lists. What's your opinion on it?
Well, I don't have any experience one way or the other. I know when I'm sort of on the other end, sort of, filling in the quiz, I don't mind them as long as they're sort of short and sharp and they're meaningful. If it's just a kind of a ploy to get you in, that's just crap and a waste of time, in my opinion. But if it's something that I'm obviously interested in, and it's a pithy question, and it really gets me to think about where I'm at and where I want to be, and obviously related to what's being sold, then yeah. So I'm probably having a 50-cent bet each way. But funnily enough, I like challenges. So challenges are all the go with many coaching folks at the moment. And one of the ones I did was with a woman called Marissa Murgatroyd, and she's, I think, in Texas somewhere. Anyway, she has an Aussie husband who's a techie kind of guy, and they do. So I did a challenge, and then she sort of gives away sort of stuff. And one of the things was his free course on EMCs, which is expiring mini courses. And he was talking about having an expiring mini course as a lead magnet, because then it gives that element of FOMO where people sort of think, oh, if I don't get, so if you finish the course, you get to keep it, and if you don't, you lose it. So there's that thing of FOMO where, I want to keep it, I want to get it. And then because there's a clock ticking down, you actually know how much time and they give you a reasonable amount of time, like 3 days to do like a short course of, say, maybe under 2 hours, he says, and it has elements. So the one that I've done has 3 sessions. The first one I think was about 15 minutes. The second one was probably about half an hour. And the last one now is 20 minutes. And of course, as you do each course, you get to get points. And so they're talking about sort of how the game industry is really popular, even with adults, right? So it gives you that dopamine hit when you sort of hear the ping. And so you sort of think, I'm really interested in sort of in hitting all my targets so I can get the ping. I know it probably sounds very, child. It sounds like it's more for sort of kids, but it's not, because they've obviously tried and tested this. And so the combination of a short course as a freebie given away for like a 3-day period, with a countdown, and you get points that kind of have some kind of audio-visual sort of, acknowledgement that you've done this, is kind of what they're talking about as being a really impactful lead generation tool, and real sort of, probably, I think he was saying like you probably get, I don't know, 50%. No, I think you probably get, I can't remember the numbers, but you get a lot more than 10 times what you would get on a normal lead magnet. So obviously sort of quizzes being one kind of lead magnet. This is another one that's kind of similar, but obviously much more involved.
So I'll ask a question, because I, like it's saying, you've got the flavor of the month, and challenges are one of them at the moment, where you got the 3, 5 day and whatever challenges. I'm in one at the moment, and it's running for 5 days, and I'll be quite honest, the first 2 days have been boring as batshit. Right? It's just like this guy keeps talking about what he's going to be talking about. Right? And it's like, and I'm going to cover this, and in day 3 we'll cover whatever, and in day 3 he just talks about what he's going to cover in day 4. Right? And at the moment it's like what I said, and you weren't here earlier, but one of the things I hate about even current webinars and whatever, the first thing I'll do is I'll fast forward for the first 20 minutes, because usually the first 20 minutes is all bullshit about them, right? And I'm not interested. I just want to get to the meat, see if there's value in there. If there is, I'll take the value and I'll move on, or I'll help. One of the other guys I was in talking to yesterday was totally opposite. Like, it's suddenly all the information you can give, like, straight away. And he said it at the beginning, I'm not talking about me. He said, you can Google me, you can go on my Facebook profile, you can check me on LinkedIn. It's all there. I'm not going to talk about it. This is what we're going to talk about. I'm straight into it, right? My kind of guy, right? Absolutely my kind of guy. Great. But so beginning back to challenges, what's your take on challenges? Because I know mine is that usually I'll have it running in the background and I'm doing something else, and taking a lesson out of Maury, I'm quadruple tasking, this guy is kind of in the background, I'm listening, and maybe something will ping and grab my attention. But there's a good chance that if I took that hour out every day and watched them, I'd have 5 hours wasted at the end of the week, So
yeah. Well, I used to be very much someone who used to be writing notes on everything. And then one of my coaching courses, the guy said, hey, just don't write notes, just go with the flow, and just trust that, you'll remember everything you need to. Now I'm so much the other way. I hardly take notes for the most part. But when I'm in a challenge, I tend to take notes. A lot of them have workbooks. And with due respect to Brenda and Maury, I hate the free North American kind of framework where they give you, it's like a fill in the blanks exercise that you used to do when you were at school. And I get that, okay, they want you to be there, but to me that just insults my intelligence. Either give me all the information or, you know, let me take my own notes or give me some dot points or something. So I actually, when I did my first self-love course, I freaking gave everything over the top, right? Because I'm a detailed person. My C energy was in overdrive. Now, when I ran my last challenge, I actually did a bit of a mix and match. So I didn't give them everything. I gave them the points that I thought they needed to remember and gave them space to write their own notes because we all process sort of stuff differently, right? So that's me running my challenge, and they got a workbook every day, and we actually did stuff to the point that people were saying, "Oh my goodness, I didn't know all this stuff." So they learned stuff. They you know, got some aha moments. They made some changes in their lives in the 5 days. But when I'm doing a challenge, on the other hand, on the other side, I'm actually taking notes, and most of the challenges actually have some actions that you have to fulfill on that day. And the challenges I've been in are very much you do the actions and then you get onto the Facebook page or what have you to post your homework, and everybody in the group kind of gives you some support. And what that does is it also gives you an insight into what everybody else is doing, how they are doing the homework, so that you get a different perspective of, you know, the same task. And I love to see different people's, you know, I mean, I've done my NLP stuff twice for the reason that I wanted to see, you know, I mean, it was part of what I paid for the second time around, but I really enjoy seeing how different people do the same thing. And so I find a lot of value in the challenge, and I have to take notes because I'll forget. And some of them have actually given you workbooks, but I find the workbooks pretty useless. I take my own notes. And then if it's a diagram or something I like, I then do a screenshot. In fact, I use my Snippy tool. So I actually really like challenges, and I found a lot of value in them. There's one that I did last week, which was craft your keynote speech in 5 steps. And so that was amazing. She gave so much value. She even gave you her slides. And we now have like a week by which to present our 5-minute talk using the formula that she's given us. So I really like the challenges that I've been involved with because they've had all that interaction. They've given you really useful information that you put into practice straight away. So you know me, I can never talk for a short time.
It's okay. No.
That's
So
me.
anybody else got any input on challenges?
Well, I would say I sign up for them all the time. I generally have the best of intentions to go through them all. I tend to be kind of the opposite of what you're saying, Fred. I tend to be highly, highly engaged on day 1, maybe a little bit less engaged by day 2. And by day 3, you're lucky if I even show up for it. Now, I plan to come back. I plan to watch the recording. It's like, oh, I'm going to watch the recording. I'm going to get the notes from the recording. But yeah, if I get down to I'm going to watch the notes from the recording, I usually never make it back at all.
But doesn't that say something about the initial couple of days? You know, because if the guy was, or the girl, whoever it was engaging in the first couple of days and you were getting value out of it, you would turn up on the 3rd day. Right? If they're boring as batshit and you're not getting value out of it, then you're just going to say, oh yeah, if I'm like, if I'm working at a PC, I'll have something running in the background and I'm listening to whatever it is, but I'm actually being busy. I'm being productive while I'm doing stuff. So it's not as though I'm taking that hour out and just totally focusing on it. And then suddenly I'll go, oh shit, hang on, I better listen to this. Because he's hit the nerve, right? He's done something that I'm interested in and he's delivering it well and whatever. But, you know, people could be better off if they did, you know, 3 1-hour challenges rather than 5 days and keeping people hanging on. And all the challenges are about is selling the service. We all know that. Like they all say at the beginning, I'm not selling anything here, you know. Come on a free consultation call. And I won't be selling you anything. You know, and you go, bullshit.
Yeah, but we're all on sales all the time.
Yeah. Why do you want to get me on a call if you're not going to sell me something? You know, we know what's going to happen at the end. So be honest about it. Say, look, like you, whatever. If not, then we can all part as friends. That's great. Don't tell me it's not going to be a sales call. Of course, it's going to be a sales call. You know.
Well, the
like
guy, the coach
weapon
that
is-
I have signed up with, he says, well, this is a free challenge. And if you really enjoy it, you get really good value, I'll ask you for two things. You know, a testimonial if it's been worthwhile. And if you really, really love it, then if you could give me 2 referrals. And so therefore he has his challenges kind of populate themselves. But yes, he is selling something as part of his challenge. But, and I mean, if you go there thinking that there's not going to be any sales, you're completely naive, or, you know, and obviously none of us is to that extent. We know we're going to be sold to. But I think for the most part, well, certainly for me, I only sign up to a challenge for something I'm interested in. There's
Yep.
no way I'm going to be signing up to some kind of challenge on, mind you, I did on Reels, you know, whatever, only because I don't know anything about Reels. But I just found after the first year it was just so different, so kind of far removed from my skill set or what I wanted to do. She was talking a different language. I thought, nah, this is not for me. And so therefore I didn't go back. But that was only because it was above my, or it was just not a good fit, right? But I knew she was going to be selling her services at the end of it, and I kind of, that wasn't the reason I didn't go. It was just no longer fitting purpose for me.
So I've considered trying to create a quiz, or not a quiz, a
Challenge?
this thing we're talking about,
A
Challenge.
a
challenge?
mini course.
Okay.
Yeah, challenge. I've been trying to playing with the idea of creating a challenge, but I'm like, okay, but what do I challenge them to do? Usually you give them some kind of an activity that's supposed to get them some kind of a result. I don't know. Do I teach people about how to talk to people at networking events and then challenge them to go to this many networking events and we look at the results that they got?
Well,
What are you trying to accomplish through your challenge?
Yeah.
What are you trying to do, Brenda, through your challenge?
Well, I want them to realize that lead generation through relationship building, if done properly.
No, you don't. You're bullshitting me and everyone here. What do you want by having a challenge? What is your end game? Not what is the flour, powder, puff, sugary coating. What's deep inside? What is the point of doing a challenge? So you can have fun, so you can boost your ego, or so you can maybe get clients.
Get more clients. Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
Definitely more.
Okay. So that's how you want, if you're going to do a challenge, which I wouldn't go near a challenge with a 12-foot pole. Someone tells me they're doing a challenge, I lose respect for them. I'm kidding, I don't. But I have no desire to do it myself. That being said, you have to tune it around what your end game is. So if you don't know the kind of challenge to do, go to ChatGPT or Perplexity or George or Sam or Susan or whatever the newest AI is, and ask it. I want to create a challenge. This is the point. This is the end game of my challenge. I want to get clients. This is my business. This is what I do for my business. What is the most appropriate challenge? And give me the steps and lay it out for me. Show me the blueprint for it. And, blah, blah, blah. And then you design your challenge around that, because that's actually what you want.
Yeah.
If you're doing a challenge like what you were, sugarcoating us with before, nobody is going to buy your product after, because you're not getting the right person there, because you're trying to give them what they want. You have to say, look, I hate Apple all to death. I do. The company, not the products are fine, but the company, I hate them to death because they tell you what you want, but they're freaking good at it. And that's what you need to do. You need to tell them they want your stuff. The point of the challenge isn't to give someone what they want or what they need. That's a load of bullshit, in my opinion, as a brain guy. What they're really trying to do is they're trying to con you into believing that you need what they have. That's the point of a challenge. The whole point is sleight of hand. It's like a magician. They're telling you, I'm going to help you. You're going to get a lot of free stuff. Yeah, I'm going to make a pitch to you after, but you're going to get so much value out of this up front that even if you don't buy my stuff, you're going to be worlds ahead of everybody else in the field. That's not the way to do it. What you need to do is you need to design something that specifically highlights why they need you.
What
like
is
hypnosis.
you are?
Do you guys disagree with me, or am I
No,
full of shit?
I didn't. I did take umbrage at the fact it's a con job. Not all people running challenges are con people, or con men or women. So I don't think it's necessarily a con job, but it's definitely
They are.
an avenue.
They are, because their motivation isn't to help you. Their motivation is to get you to buy their stuff.
But they don't have to be mutually exclusive.
No, well, no, it doesn't have to be. But if that's how you're marketing it, then you are conning them. You are sleighting hand them. You are saying, watch this hand while this hand goes in and grabs your wallet.
I get it. But that doesn't necessarily only happen with challenges. That happens with most kinds of marketing, right?
But we're talking about challenges now.
I get
right?
that. I get
So
that.
we're not talking about anything else. All I'm saying is, if you truly want to be straightforward and to get clients, then you need to convince these people, if you're going to use a challenge as a way of doing it, that challenge has to convince them that they need what you're offering. If it does, that's why people offer their product at the end of a challenge and not at the beginning of a challenge, because they're prepping you. You know, they don't prep you for surgery after the surgery. They prep you before the surgery. That's what you have to do as a challenge, as a quiz, as a whatever you're doing, a webinar, anything. Look, I just did a webinar. It went exceptionally well. I was totally straight with them from the very beginning. They knew it was actually the highlight, the label, the emails. Brand new technology will make this easier for you. Obviously, we're going to tell you about this new tech that I'm offering you. And we're even going to give you a great price. I'm saying it up front. This is about a product, but it's about a product that's going to help you to keep your promise to yourself. I'm not making you any promises. You're making yourself a promise, and I'm going to help you to keep that promise.
I think we're pretty much the same thing.
That was the hook that they understood. That's why I did a lot of sales, and I'm still doing sales because of that. Be honest. Don't con them like everybody else. Oh, this is a beautiful challenge. You're going to get this and this and this. It's kind of like, look, you're going to get an education. You're going to be better off after this education.
I think what you're saying is valid, Murray, to a degree. But like when we talk about, and like the word challenge is really, you know, it's the buzzword that's going around at the moment. But it's really like a 3-day webinar or whatever it is. And time is of the essence for most people. So like one of the things, when you rename, why can't we have a 1-day challenge, or a 1-hour challenge? So you actually get people, and rather than dragging the stuff out over 3 or 4 or 5 days, get to the meat, because that's the way I want to do stuff. I want to give people, here it is. And yes, you give them something of value so they can go off and use it and whatever, in the hope. Like at the moment, I'm promoting the CRM system, right? Everything I do at the moment is giving people content so eventually they can see the benefit of using the CRM system, right? They may not use it for months, may not want it for months, right? But if I get them on that journey, then all of these things that they're getting will say, well, I can't manage that without this, right? Yes, I can do a little bit of it, but if I really want to manage it, I've got to have this. So that's my delivery method at the moment. Everything I do is about getting people in that, and people know it. I tell them up front, I say my focus is to get people using the CRM system because that's where my money comes from.
Hey, Brenda, just listening to what Maury was saying, and Fred, but instead of a quiz, a survey with everything designed along making the person the recipient of the survey leading to what you have to offer on your mastermind thing, so that there's something in it for them. They can see that there's something, that you're offering something for them. A survey versus a quiz or multiple answer type question, but a survey.
I think it's pretty much the same thing the way they're done online. Like whether you call it a quiz or call it a survey,
Yeah.
technically it's the same thing. It's just the questions you ask. So it's but the way they work is the same. You just have
because a quiz conjures up a game, you know.
I like your idea, Fred, of a 1 hour challenge. That's clever. Nobody's done that from what I've noticed. And I think that is really smart because you're going to attract a lot of people who wouldn't be attracted to these challenges because they're too much of a time commitment.
Well, if when you see a promotion for a 3-day, 5-day challenge, what runs through my mind is that that's 3 or 4 or 5 days, you know, that you're committed to. Well, you don't really know what the answer is, but what you just said, an hour's challenge, you can get a lot done in an hour to stimulate the neural pathways to carry on a bit further, you know.
I think basically, you know, we will get we tend to offer stuff for the people that we are, and we tend to get the people who are like us. So, for example, you would do a 1 hour challenge. I wouldn't be interested in a 1 hour challenge because I don't think, for me, I actually want something that's a bit more involved. I like detail and I like more depth. So for me, that's not a challenge, that's a webinar. So, you know, and I find that the webinars tend to be pretty meaningless. They are just a bloody, you know, sales platform from my perspective. Because it's just about, here's all this information, now come buy my thing. And then you get those fill in the blank bloody booklets that annoy the shit out of me because it reminds me of school. And I find them meaningless, right? Whereas at least the challenge, well, the ones I've been doing are about getting shit done, putting it somewhere that you get feedback. And that's the other thing with the challenge is you get feedback, right? From the person running the challenge as well as other people in the challenge. And that's where having it go over a number of days kind of works for me. But as I said, if that's not your bag, then obviously you wouldn't be able to present a 3-day challenge with any kind of authenticity, and you probably wouldn't, you know, have much traction from that. Whereas I wouldn't be able to do the 1 hour thing with any kind of passion, and therefore it would just be a waste of everybody's time, mine included. So I think, you know, based on our own kind of priorities and our own ways of doing things is what works. And if that's the kind of people you're after.
And I think what you're saying really makes sense, Alison. I think it's also ironic that the two women in the room kind of are both saying the same thing, that no, I wouldn't do this, where the men are saying, oh, I would do this. Like, I'm with you. If you told me that it was a 1 hour challenge, I would think, oh no, that you're just calling a webinar something different. And every webinar I've ever been on has been one massive sales pitch.
Yeah.
And usually it's not something that I walked away with much actual good knowledge from. So I've been trying to offer within my community master classes that actually teach content in 1 hour. And I find it remarkably difficult to get people out to them. People say, oh, I'm interested, but it's the same thing as your challenge with getting people out to this, Fred. They say, oh, I'm interested. They say they're coming. They say it on Facebook, they say it on LinkedIn, they say it all over the place, they say it everywhere, I promote it, but then they don't actually purchase their tickets and they don't actually show up.
So that's a good point. Here's something I need to tell you. The guy who does my marketing in Singapore has been sucking royal amounts of jelly for a long time now, because he's not doing anything about building the audience, not doing anything about getting more people to know about what I do. This is a problem all of us have, right? That, you know, we have the people who know us already, but they've probably used our service and or products or bought a number of them already. How many times are they supposed to use us? How many times are they supposed to buy us? So we need to keep filtering in new people, and you can develop new services and new whatever to be more attractive to people. But here's the thing. Most of my webinars, like for Revitamind, for Quantum Mind Method, for Quantum Confidence, for Mind Power, I've been getting on average 13 to 15 people to the webinar. Not a lot of people. And then you get people who go to the, you know, they go to the replay, or as we call it now, the encore. So He came up with a great idea though. He said, Maury, add an extra slide to the PowerPoint. I said, sure, what do you want? He goes, before the first slide,
Gotta go.
put in, thank you for being early to my webinar. As a gift, go to this link and download your free valued at $100 recording that's never been released before.
Nice.
I had 40 people show up before. 40 people before it even started.
Love it.
By the point, I had 55 people at it at the end of it. And it was funny because I said, for those of you that know me, you're probably going to be laughing, dying laughing in the aisles, doubled over. But I'm really going to try to make this webinar 40 minutes. 30 to 40 minutes. And I'm sure you're all, for those of you who know me, you're all going to be laughing. Allison, you and I could do a webinar and everyone would have a good night's sleep because it would go on and on and on. This webinar went on with question and answer 2.5 hours. Probably 1 hour and 45 minutes of webinar. Just me going off on tangents every slide, you know, because I get inspired to say this and inspired to say that. It was absolutely hilarious. But I'll tell you something, by the end of the call, I had 60 people on the call. And it wasn't people dropping off and other people coming on. The people who dropped off came back because they got booted off or they had to go to the bathroom or whatever. Everyone stuck around the entire time. There are ways to make these things work, right? And it's been a while. I used to get 80 people on a call, no problem. But these people have all bought 6 of my products, 7 of my products. So how many times are they supposed to buy this? You know, even it's not the same thing because I have lots of products, but how many of my products are they supposed to buy? It's like a man, right? A man will have 3 pairs of shoes. They'll have boots, running shoes, and dress shoes, right? A woman
And
might
that's
have.
what I find. Sorry, Maury. That's
No,
what
go
I
ahead.
find interesting is that I'm offering them a different style of shoes every time. I'm offering them to come and learn from Allison about self-love and empowerment and her strategies. And then I'm inviting them to come and learn from Fred about something tech, like totally different perspectives, totally different products. And even that isn't attracting bigger and bigger audiences. And I'm like, okay, what are we doing wrong?
How are you doing it? How are
Yeah,
you?
guys, I gotta go.
See you,
I'll
Ray.
catch up with you later.
Bye.
Take
Bye
it
bye,
easy,
Ray.
Ray. Nice seeing you
Nice
as
chat.
always.
Cheers. Well, I
Yeah.
think they need to know Alison and Ray before they decide they want to waste their time with them. Because I think what Maury was saying, and in fact, you too, Brenda, was about engagement. Now, I think women kind of do like that, you know, interaction, that ongoing engagement. I know this is a huge generalization because there are women who don't, whereas men are more kind of, you know, a solution focused. So this is my problem, give me the solution, and I'm out of here. So I think when you, and as an e-disc person, you know, it's very much about knowing each of the different sort of energy styles and what they're after. So an I energy actually wants the engagement. They want to chat, what have you. A D energy says, you know, bottom line, and I'm out of here. Give me the shit and let me go. You know, whereas your C and your S energy, they want detail and they want the manual, or they want the kind of the process, the how to. So depending on who your target audience is, I think is basically what you would offer and how and what sort of and how you would offer it, what sort of platform you'd use. Yeah, so I think there are those elements as well that come into play.
Yeah, I think there's more to it than that. You know, I think there's a lot more to it than that. I like, for instance, are you sending emails out? Are you sending Facebook posts? What are you doing? How are you connecting with your clients?
I do Facebook posts. I do LinkedIn posts. I create an event on Alignable. I do posts on Instagram. All of those things.
That's also only the same people keep seeing you all the time. Then you're not getting out to anybody new. Or organically, you might get out to a few new people here and there who find you and go, oh, that's interesting. I'm going to follow her and see. But ultimately, you're not getting out to anybody new, really. So it's not surprising. The same message going out to the same people, it's going to get dull. Like if I do this long enough, I won't feel it on my hand after a while. My hand's going to go numb. right? And that's what happens to my customers. That's what's probably happening to your potential customers too. They're getting numb because it's the same people seeing the same stuff over and over and over and over again. You need to get out your message. First of all, you have to get email addresses. You have to be able to communicate with these people directly because you have no idea what kind of engagement you're getting. Twitter had a funny thing because Trump was bragging, oh, I had 3 million people follow me when I was interviewed by Joe Blow, you know, and Twitter has a thing that if you scroll by something, that counts as a view. So if he happens to be in the row and literally whoosh, like that, is considered by Twitter to be a view. So it's 3 million people who are looking for something else and just didn't even see it, but blew by it. You need to get out to new people. That's the thing. And when you get out to them, engaging on social media exclusively, look, you know my view of social media. I think it's the most useless thing in the universe. But that being said, a lot of people are doing well with it, but not just with it. You need to get their email. You have to have them on a list. Then you know for sure they want to see you. A lot of people will click, click, click and follow you because you're suggested and they just want to have more people. And maybe you'll follow them back, and that's why they're doing it. They're doing it for an ego trip. They're not doing it because they have any real interest. That's why an email is different, because that's a double opt-in thing. They're not going to go on your email list thinking you're going to sign up to their email list because these people don't have email lists. They're interested because they're actually interested. So maybe on social media, to start building an email list, you may want to consider offering a newsletter once every 2 weeks or something, or once every month, and say, hey, I'm offering a newsletter that's going to give you information that may not cost you anything, but it's definitely not free. You know, let them know there's value there. Let them know that there's a reason. Start building an email list, then you probably have a CRM that you're not even using. Right? Now start using it. I have
Red CRM. I'm using it for some things, but I'm not using it to its full extent.
But that's what I'm thinking. So you need to start using it. And then look, you're the biz leads expert. How much confidence do you think does it give people when you can't generate leads for yourself? So you need to take your philosophies and your policies and start testing them on yourself. You're the best customer for yourself because you're not going to fire you if something doesn't work. Believe me, for everything of mine that I design that works, I've got at least 10 or 15 that totally flop. Like, I mean, flop so bad, if my customers knew they flopped, if I just released stuff without testing it first, I wouldn't have anyone thinking I'm worth anything. Well, so you need to test stuff. And when you get stuff that works, use that to get the new customers for yourself, to build your list, right?
So, okay, so I think I got your message here, Maury, because I know how to generate leads. I know how to generate. My LinkedIn says it. I generated 3,000 qualified leads in 1 year. I can do that again. I can do that over and over again.
Do it for yourself.
So I need to, yeah, and in the process, build my mailing list so that I'm then mailing to those people. Got it.
Brenda,
but that's why you have something of value.
We've had a conversation a couple of times, Brenda, and I'm going to say it again to you. You've got to stop with the shiny objects.
That's a guy thing, Brenda. That's not supposed to be a woman.
You've got to stop with the buying courses, doing stuff, think this is going to work, because that's all you're doing. You're not going out doing what you do best, and that's generating leads for yourself, right? So if you got one thing, just pick one thing that you know your clients want and market the shit out of it, right? Just push that one thing, not everything. It's like, then you can, you know, you've got the ascension ladder in the sales process. So you can get somebody in on one thing and then ascend them up the ladder onto your other services and everything else. But if you focus on the lead magnet is the one thing, right? And that's all you market. You don't talk about the other shit. You know, you don't talk about it. Like, I'm talking about the CRM. That's all I talk about at the moment, right? It's all I talk about. You think that's all I sell? No, it's not. My sales is getting people to pay me for an hourly rate on consultation and doing their CRM for them and doing the marketing for them and doing that stuff. But my lead magnet is the CRM.
And my highest close ratio is on my community.
To sell the shit out of your community. Don't talk about anything else. Don't talk about your masterminds. Don't talk about your other stuff. You can talk about that once you get people into your community. Right? Just talk about this community and how you're helping people within the community. And
think about it, as you're building your community, you're proving to people that works.
All that shit. Market the shit out of that one thing.
But remember, the more successful you are at building your community, the more evidence you have. Look, I have a deal that might be going through or it might flop. I'm going to know like in a couple of weeks. And it'll flop if my product doesn't convert. This guy has hundreds of high quality affiliates. We're talking professional affiliates that make 8-9 figures a year. But he's not going to introduce them to my work unless he has metrics he can show them, because these aren't people who will just market anything. They're not marketing a sea of water or Tupperware or, you know, Head and Shoulders shampoo or something, right? You know, or some supplement company stuff that you see on, you know, Happy Neighborhood Project. No offense to Happy Neighborhood Project, but, you know, it attracts a certain kind of, you know, person, a nice person, but not really a business
Allison and I both like Happy Neighborhood Project, don't we,
I like
Allison?
it too. I like it too, and I like the people, but it doesn't attract big business. It doesn't.
No,
it's not an insult.
It doesn't.
It just doesn't. So if you're going to, you know, do what you do, you need to be able to show the numbers. This guy is going to dump me, and it's cost me already $2,000 US. That's like $3,000 Canadian. It's going to cost me another 500 now because we're both partnering in on it. So he's paying 500, I'm paying 500 to go into this specially targeted field. We tried his list, but his list is like top earning CEOs. They don't care about what I'm doing. So we're going to actually, he found this really good source of targeted newsletter leads, but it's expensive. But if it works for us, then we have the metrics that he can then go to his affiliate, like thousands of affiliates, and then 2 or 3 of them will market my work every single week. So that means it'll be money coming in every single week, but I have to prove what I'm doing is marketable to these people. The only way is if this particular deal works, because I'm not blowing any more money with him after that, you know. But that's the thing. If it gets good numbers, then he markets it and maybe I get rich as a result, because that's the kind of people he's dealing with. If I don't get the numbers, because I have to prove I'm worth to these people first.
Yep.
We all have to prove we're worth
before
someone's going to hire us, right? Whether that's as an individual person who's going to give you like $100 an hour, or whether that's a corporation that's going to pay you $10,000 a month, or whether that's a bunch of conglomerate of a bunch of people and you're going to be making $100,000 a month. Whatever it is, they're not going to spend money on you if they don't see the value. John Assaraf is a great example. You all know John Assaraf, right? The name?
Yep.
He got popular because of The Secret movie.
Yeah.
He's basically been riding the coattails of The Secret movie since then. And he's a millionaire multi times over, all because of that movie. He sells his name more than he sells any skill. Seriously, people use his name. It's like Trump, right? Trump Tower, Trump this, Trump that.
His stuff's quite good.
I'm sorry?
I have to. I'm going to go. I've got to meet with another client. Just 2 quick things. Fred, we've solved the problem with the links, so I'll be getting you the link, the Stripe link. Problem is solved. I'll let you know, but I've got the link ready for you. Okay, Allison, we have to have another conversation because I still want to get you in for a masterclass, and we're still going to do a masterclass no matter what. The masterclasses are happening. We're going to keep doing masterclasses as part of the community benefits. And there's another piece to it that you can join in on if you're interested and if you join the community. So thank you, everybody. Fred, I'm so glad you recorded this one because you have a great example of a mastermind in all the wisdom that everybody's exchanged tonight for the recording.
And we can all thank Allison for that, because we wouldn't have had this conversation if she hadn't arrived, right? So thanks,
that's Allison. Right.
So
thank you, Allison.
Thank you, Allison.
Is the check in the mail?
Absolutely. Yep. Sure. All right, guys. We've got a well over time, so but it's been
Yeah,
really,
sorry.
really
It was
enjoyable.
fun
Come
though.
back again, Allison.
I
I
will.
need the women power.
You can beat them up, Brenda.
All
You
right.
don't need to have any more people. You've got my vote of confidence. Take care.
Take
Talk
care,
to you
everybody.
soon.
See you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah,